This is your trusted source, ABC 12 News at noon.
Pretty soon, thousands of kids will be in search of treats while Mother Nature continues her tricks this Halloween.
Remnants of Superstorm Sandy continue to bring some rain to mid-Michigan. And on top of that, it's cold. Good afternoon, mid-Michigan. I'm Dawn Jones.
And I'm Larry Elliott. We have a lot to cover this afternoon. We begin with your Halloween forecast.
John, how cold is it going to get for trick-or-treaters tonight? And what's the latest on Sandy?
Well, it is definitely a bit on the damp side, as you can see through all of the sky cams. Still we seeing some very light rain or drizzle. The temperatures haven't moved all that much, but the winds are ever so slowly weakening as the spotty pockets of rain continue to linger. It is going to be still a little bit on the breezy side and chilly, very likely staying near to the 40-degree mark by 6 o'clock this evening, maybe 38 or 39 in a few spots, but factor in a little bit of wind, and those temperatures definitely feel as if they're closer to about 30 degrees. Now, the biggest improvement, the major change in the sky conditions really will be for the very end of the week, Friday, and also into the weekend. And the remnants of Sandy will continue to move northward now in the southern parts of Ontario.
Thanks, John. We do continue our coverage of Superstorm Sandy now. New York and New Jersey are just beginning to recover from the hurricane, and it's not just cleanup.
More problems, new ones this afternoon, are popping up. ABC's Mark Greenblatt is in Lower Manhattan and joins us now with more.
Flames burn in the seaside New Jersey community of Manahawkin. A gas explosion is thought to have caused the fires in this exclusive neighborhood. But with all the roads cut off by Sandy, firefighters couldn't respond, forced to let the whole community burn down. Other seaside neighborhoods in Jersey swallowed up by sand and water. In Seaside Heights, entire blocks of homes are gone now. The entrance to the town sits underwater.
We wrote it out because we're from Florida. So we didn't think it was going to be like this. I mean, I've been through 4 hurricanes, never seen anything like this.
New York City taxi cabs sat submerged in floodwaters, while much of Atlantic City's iconic boardwalk is in ruins. On the Jersey Shore, an amusement park collapsed into the Atlantic Ocean.
We'll rebuild it, but for those of us who are my age, it won't be the same.
And in New York, the city will spend the next several days pumping out flooded subway tunnels. In Breezy Point, New York, a neighborhood filled with firemen, cops, and blue-collar workers, a fire destroyed more than 100 homes.
Nothing I could really identify except for the kitchen tile and the bathroom tile, and that's about it.
The cause of the fire is unknown, but today, signs of an attempt to return to normal, as Mayor Michael Bloomberg rang the opening bell at the New York Stock Exchange and normal trading resumed. And 2 of New York's major airports are now open again. New York's LaGuardia Airport is still flooded and won't be accepting flights anytime soon.
And even while Lower Manhattan remains without power, another sign that things are beginning to come back to life, these guys, tourists, have returned, taking pictures next to the bull. Mark Greenblatt reporting in Lower Manhattan for ABC News.
New York and New Jersey weren't the only states either affected by Sandy's wrath.
Her impact continues to create an assortment of problems from Georgia to Wisconsin this afternoon. In Maryland, some areas got 2 feet of snow. Sandy's ripple effects walloped 8 states with blizzard conditions.
In Cleveland, it was all about the wind, with trees down all over town, even scarring the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame. Here in Michigan, cleanup continues in Huron County. This after near record-breaking 23-foot waves in Lake Huron.
A couple of thousand homes and businesses are still without power in the Thumb, and most are along the lakeshore between Caseville and Port Austin. More than 500 are in the dark south of Harbor Beach. There are pockets of a few hundred outages in other places throughout the Thumb as well.
Our team coverage of the superstorm continues here in mid-Michigan.
About a dozen Red Cross volunteers are preparing to ship out and help with relief efforts in New York.
ABC 12's Autumn Perry is live at Red Cross headquarters in Flint with the details. Autumn.
Larry, Dawn, just a short time ago, 14 people got the call to come here immediately to the Genesee Lapeer chapter of the American Red Cross. Right now, many of them are still inside this building preparing to head to New York. Less than 48 hours after Hurricane Sandy ripped a path of destruction along the East Coast and into the Midwest.
And Grandpa needs to go help them because they can't live in their house.
Flint area Red Cross volunteers got the call they are needed to help provide relief.
We called them this morning at 9:30, and you see they're all here already.
14 volunteers from the Genesee Lapeer chapter are headed for New York. We were there at their chapter headquarters as they prepared to leave.
Right now, what you see over my shoulder, they're all on the phones getting air flights. We have our own travel agency that we deal with, and so they will be booking flights if there's anything open today. It may be a roundabout route to get there, but they'll get there.
That's still waiting.
The volunteers are headed to the worst hit areas of New York. They'll be there for a minimum of 2 weeks, working in harsh conditions.
Almost all of them are going out and working in shelters, which is the greatest need right now because people are displaced from their home. Water's still up, water's still rising, in fact.
No heat, no lights. Try to get people some food and water. Number one thing, some comfort.
Many of the volunteers have been to hurricane disaster zones before, but this disaster is unlike others of the past.
I really don't know. I've mostly have gone down south and haven't gone east before, so I really don't know what to expect, but it seems like there's a lot of flooding.
And we just got an update from one of the volunteers walking out of the building to the parking lot to her car. She says the earliest she could get a flight is tomorrow. She says flights to New York are hard to come by. There's still several volunteers inside trying to get an earlier flight, but it looks like many of them will be leaving tomorrow. Reporting in Flint, Autumn Perry, ABC 12 News.
Stay with ABC 12 for continuing coverage. We'll bring you the latest on Superstorm Sandy throughout the day, and coverage continues on ABC 12 News first at 4.
Police and firefighters in mid-Michigan are prepared for arsons and any other spooky behavior tonight. Last night, Flint firefighters responded to a call about a vacant house fire in the 200 block of East Sherman. There were 4 other vacant house fires within a couple of blocks of that one about the same time. A 6th suspicious fire broke out early this morning. A special task force will be on patrol in the Vehicle City, hoping to keep everyone safe on Halloween.
The past 3 years has been fairly slow. Back in the 90s, we used to have 100, 200 fires on that day alone.
New to the newsroom, attempted arson is being blamed for a house fire in Saginaw this morning. It started about 8:30 in the 800 block of South 11th Street. The deputy fire chief says at least 6 people were home at the time, including children. They were able to get out after a neighbor woke them. An investigation is currently underway. Extra eyes will be watching the streets of Saginaw tonight as well. Volunteers from the city's arson watch group are working with police and firefighters to keep the city safe for kids out getting candy.
New at noon, 2 men charged with shooting and killing a 6-year-old girl in Saginaw heard testimony in the murder case this morning. 21-year-old Rico Saldana and 22-year-old Levon Greer are charged with killing Layla Jones and injuring her father. The shooting happened on August 29th in a home on Essling while Jones was visiting there. Now, Layla's father testified that he heard gunshots and then fell to the ground, realizing his daughter was also shot. We have a crew in the courtroom, and we'll bring you more tonight at 6.
A 92-year-old man shot yesterday in Flint has died. His shooting, the first of 2 shootings within 2 hours of each other yesterday afternoon. He was inside his home about 2:15 in the 3900 block of Race on the city's north side. Then about 4, police were called to a home in the 1600 block of Broad Court on the city's south side. ABC 12's Lori Dugavito is in Flint live with details new at noon. Lori.
Hi, Larry. Well, 3 victims in that second shooting. More on that in a moment, but we want to begin with the new information about that deadly shooting here on Race Street. Police now say someone knocked at that elderly man's door. He just returned from running a quick errand. He answered the door and was shot 1 time. The suspect did not get into his home, but immediately left, police say. Reports yesterday indicated that that elderly man's granddaughter was at the home. She heard a shot from another room, went to go check on her grandfather, and then found him injured. As we said, about 2 hours later, officers were called to the opposite side of the city, the south side, for reports of 3 people shot inside of a home there on Broad Court. Police today say 2 of the victims, they have been upgraded. Initially, it appeared 1 person was in serious condition, 1 in critical, but both have been upgraded. 1 person at last check remains in critical condition, according to police. That That person is Nigel Melton, 19 years old. The other two victims have been identified as Blakely Williams and Avantez Boone. One person in custody in that shooting, according to police. One person still being searched for connected to that crime. As for that deadly shooting of the 92-year-old man here on Race Street, no suspect information is available from police at this time. We, of course, will be following all of the latest developments in both of those cases, and we'll have more for you on later editions of ABC 12 News. For now, live in Flint, Lori D'Agavito, ABC 12 News.
There's more news to come this afternoon. Governor Snyder is making stops across Michigan today, and we go live to Freeland, where he's moments away from addressing the crowd on the ballot proposals. But first, it's back to business on the campaign trail. As the power of Sandy weakens, we check in with both candidates next.
You're watching ABC 12 News at noon with Dawn Jones, Larry Elliott, and meteorologist John McMurray. ABC 12 News, your trusted source.